Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Alright, before we start, I want to address something. I've seen people that do not like the brand Christopher Ward asking a question simply maybe for the sake of hate or snobbery, I guess. What does it feel to have somebody else's name on your wrist? I really do not know. Why don't you go and ask owners of Lange, F.P. Journe, Karl F. Bucherer, or Piaget? Well, I hope you see my point here. Somehow or rather, brand names do oftenly come from somebody's name. For example, Ford, Hewlett-Packard, Dell, so on and so forth. With that question out of the way, let's get into our routine program. This watch comes with a bang-on diameter of 39mm when measured from the bezel. The crystal diameter is about 33mm. The watch has a thickness of 12.1mm and the lug-to-lug distance is 45.8mm. However, the effective lug-to-lug distance can be a little long at 50mm due to the non-articulated end links of the watch. The watch does come with a 20mm lug width. The watch case is made out of 316L stainless steel with a combination of brushed and polished finishing. Christopher Ward is calling this their light catcher case design. The top and the sides of the watch are brushed with 4 high polished chamfers running across the case from lug to lug. It comes with a fixed brushed stainless steel bezel, again with polished chamfers both at the top and bottom of that bezel. The top of the bezel has a radial brush pattern. The 24-hour markings are engraved and filled with black paint. Protecting the dial is a flat sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating on the underside. The dial is a high polished lacquered dial. The combination of the AR coating and the high gloss dial give the impression that the hour markers are floating on a calm, deep pool of water. Well, before we go on further, let's address the elephant in the room here. This watch does look like the Rolex Explorer 2. Christopher Ward even admitted that resemblance in their Loop magazine. Let me quote, "Speaking of the Explorer 2, you may have spotted that the C63 GMT bears more than a passing resemblance to that low-key classic at first glance, though a second closer inspection reveals how many of its details are actually very different. Indeed, the Sealander is not unlike a completely rethought, modernized and rational version of that watch." End quote. You can say that they copied the Explorer 2, and maybe you are right, but at least they admitted it. To me, it's more like getting the inspiration from, and that important word in that quoted passage is rational version of that watch. Something more attainable, I would say. Oh, this black dial version bears quite a close resemblance to the Grand Seiko SBGN 003 if you just go and Google that watch and you will know, okay, they look the same or almost the same. Okay, back to this watch. All the hour markers have textured finish with high polished chamfers towards the dial. There is a double markers for the 12 o'clock position. The hour and minute hands have polished and brush finishing. The surfaces near the edge are high polish and the midsection is brushed. I'm not sure if I'm able to show that here, but if you try to look at the hour hand, I'm not sure if you're seeing that, the midsection is kind of brushed, even on the tip as well, and towards the edge you have high polish finish. The same goes for the minute hands. There is an orange tip GMT hand with a blacked out portion near the pinion. The second hand has an orange tip matching the orange GMT hand, and it comes with the iconic trident counterbalance. The markers and hands are filled with Super Luminova Grade X1 BLC1 lume that gives a bright bluish hue. Reading the time in the dark should not be a problem, but the bezel on the GMT dial is not lume, so reading the GMT time in the dark or in total darkness might need some mental exercise as there is no lume at all. Okay, not the best lighting to show to you guys the lume, but because it is still daylight here and I don't have a dark room, so this will have to make do. Well, the lume is a slightly bluish colored or bluish hue kind of lume. I'm not sure if my phone camera is doing it justice by just adjusting the white balance on its own. Yeah, but reading the time in the dark should not be a problem, but reading the GMT time really needs some mental exercise because we do not have any lume on the GMT bezel. The watch has a very symmetrical look with the Christopher Ward brand sitting below 12 rather than next to the 9 o'clock position as with some of their older watches. The date window is above 6. I wish more watchmakers would adopt the 6 o'clock date window position. Above the date window, we have 150 meters / 500 feet in orange and automatic GMT in white matching the Christopher Ward brand. If there is one thing that I would change, it would be to remove that Christopher Ward text and just place their twin flag logo just beneath the 12. Speaking of the twin flag, we have a screw down crown with the twin flag embossed on the crown. This watch is powered by a new Sellita SW330-2 automatic mechanical movement. It has a power reserve of about 56 hours and beats at 28,800 beats per hour. It comes with a rated accuracy of ±20 seconds per day, which is okay but can be better. We will place this on a time grapher later. The movement is hackable and hand windable. The hand winding is buttery smooth. It is definitely smoother than a regular SW200, I would say. The watch also comes with a see-through caseback. It's a screw-down see-through caseback, and we can see the SW200 beating inside the watch. It comes with a nicely customized decorated rotor. Okay, I've placed the watch on the time grapher, so let's measure the rated or the actual accuracy of the watch itself. Okay, so the rated accuracy or the actual accuracy of the watch is pretty good here. So we are about like 5 to maybe +5 to +7 seconds per day, and there is a 0.0 milliseconds bit error, which is quite good for this watch movement that is supposed to come with a rated accuracy of ±20 seconds per day. So I think this watch movement is performing rather well here. The watch comes with a quick release bracelet. There are 2 handles or 2 levers at the end of the end links. So to remove the bracelet, you just use your fingers and just press at the 2 levers. I'm trying to do this with my gloves, so pardon the clumsiness again. Alright, so yeah, what you need to do is just to squeeze on this 2 lever, and then you should be able to remove the bracelet. So this makes swapping out the bracelet with leather band or even rubber band more easy. The bracelet comes with a fully brushed finishing, and the removable links are held by pins and collars. So there is no direction on where you should push out the pin, but we have a long collar in the middle of that mid link here. And one cool thing about all Christopher Ward's bracelet is they have this ratcheting style micro adjustment on the bracelet. So I can just simply slide the bracelet in. So there is 4 micro adjustment, if that's what you're gonna call it. And for us to pull that out, there is this lever here. So use your thumb or your finger to push down the lever and you should be able to extend the bracelet. And for this bracelet on this model, they provided half links. To be exact, they are 2 half links, but I only use 1. So in combination with this micro adjustment and the half link, we have a lot of flexibility to fit that bracelet on any wrist sizes. Alright, this is how the watch looks on my 6-inch or 15.2 centimeters wrist. Well, one can argue that the watch does look bigger because of the thin bezel, but I think it's still okay. And even though I was saying that the lug-to-lug distance, the effective lug-to-lug distance is about 50 millimeters, but due to how that end links taper down, so it doesn't feel that big even though it's on my small wrist here. Well, the clasp, it's a little longer, but comparing to the old C60, I think this clasp is slightly shorter. And somehow the bracelet doesn't feel as heavy as those on the C60. I'm guessing is that, yeah, I'm guessing is that each link is slightly thinner, contributing to that lighter weight feel, which I think is quite okay. So this watch wear pretty well, and I think it wears quite good in a lot of occasion with a lot of outfit. To me, at about $1,000 US, this watch punches well above its weight. There are not many Swiss-made watches with an automatic GMT movement at this price point. The level of finishing is not the greatest, but would suffice for the price of the entire package. Alright, with that said, that's the end of the video. If you're new to the channel, please help to subscribe to the channel. It really helps me a lot, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye bye.